The year 2000 saw the emergence of a new player in the comic book field. Cross-Generation Comics was founded by Mark Alessi, a man who had a love for comics and who had recently sold his software company to Ross Perot. CrossGen was determined to change the way comic books were made right from the start. Based just outside Tampa, Florida, the company attracted some of the top talent in the industry by making offers that other publishers wouldn't or couldn't, much in the same way Bill Gaines did for EC. Among the benefits in the CrossGen contract were a regular salary, profit sharing, and medical benefits, to name a few. The long-standing standard for creators had previously been to work freelance. While exclusive contracts at publishers were common, generally, writers and artists were self-employed. What CrossGen offered was comparable to compensation given to employees of corporations outside of the art world. Job security for comic book creators. What a novel concept. Alessi also had a huge, state-of-the-art complex built to house CrossGen staffers, with fully equipped modules specifically designed for the kind of collaborative work comic books entail. Gone were the days when a creative team would mail, fax, or email portions of the work back and forth across town or across the country. At CrossGen, collaborations were to be more personal, with each member of the creative process in a room together, working as an actual team, rather than as individual stations along an assembly line. In exchange for this, creators would work exclusively for CrossGen. The combination of solid, reliable pay, an enthusiastic environment, very conducive to the creative process, and the prospect of working for a company determined to make huge strides for the art form that they loved was enough to lure a number of the most highly regarded writers and artists to CrossGen, as well as several talented newcomers. In terms of stories, CrossGen steers clear of the usual superhero archetype. Instead, the head writers have created a universe in which every imaginable genre of comic book storytelling can be realized, and the broadest possible audience can be reached. All of the stories within this universe are tied to common elements and themes, most notably the sigil, which appears in nearly all of the books, and which doubles as the logo for CrossGen. Though all of the stories relate to a central driving theme, it is not necessary to read all of the titles to get the whole picture. Each book can be read and understood individually. While there is no particular house style applied to the art, all CrossGen books adhere to an overall realistic look, to emphasize the importance of substance over style. Therefore, none of the CrossGen's artists employ an overly flashy or abstract style. The art falls within the stylistic guidelines of classic illustration, but retains the dynamic elements that are unique to comic books. CrossGen's line of comic books began with a modest 4 monthly titles, and a 5th title to be released quarterly. All of the books combine elements of fantasy and science fiction, some leaning more towards one genre than the other, to produce unique and appealing stories that cater to a wide range of tastes. So confident was CrossGen in the quality of these books that they offered money-back guarantee on the first issues, an unheard of measure for other comic books. Their confidence was more than justified. From this relatively small beginning, CrossGen quickly grew to gain a larger market share with, as of early 2003, 14 monthly books, a handful of these each spinning off of a miniseries based in the same world, as well as one original miniseries not based on an existing series, and the quarterly CrossGen Chronicles. If this rate of growth can be maintained, CrossGen stands to become a very significant presence in the comic industry, and will set some great precedents for the way publishers operate.